So obviously he's getting a lot of flack on X and on social media of all kinds for those comments, Michael. But what was your reaction to hearing that? I think that we all agree Jalen Hurts isn't going to sit down unless he is so severely injured he can't play. But
I didn't understand how one meets the other. The fact that he's not reading coverages has nothing to do with his knee. I mean, I will break some news to you. One of the things you give complete credit to the Philadelphia offense and Nick Sirianni is the fact that they've built this scheme around Jalen Hurts never going to be a rhythm thrower. He's never going to be a rhythm. That's what he wasn't in Alabama. It's why he got benched in the championship game. What he is a very talented athlete who, if running in a six-back offense with high-low reads, can make great throws, and he's accurate with the ball down the field. I mean, that's his strength. His strength is that game, and it has nothing to do with his knee. It has nothing to do with his knee. It has everything to do with playing from in front, which they did last year, and they're not this year, right? When you can't run the ball to the level that you want to run the ball, like Philadelphia did last season, right? I mean, Philly was a very good run team last year. I mean, that's one of the areas where they had third in the league in attempts last year rushing. They had the most touchdowns rushing, and they had the fifth most yards. I mean, this year they're just not the same team in that category. They can't quite run as effectively as they did. And the other thing they can't do is get the lead on people because their defense is playing so poorly. And so when you can't get the lead, all of a sudden you've got to get into more of a drop. And when you're playing from behind, what do you have to do? What do I say all the time about Kyle Shanahan? When he gets behind, it's a drop-back pass game, and that's when they fall apart. It's the same thing in Philadelphia. They need run action to run their passing game. There's nothing wrong with it. That's just what it is.
And they've done a good job, to their credit, the majority of games where they've had their backs against the wall, finding ways to win. Obviously, against San Francisco, that was not the case, and that's not something that you can rely on long term. They were very fortunate. I'm sure that if there's a luck rating in the NFL, it's pretty high for what they've been able to do in the fourth quarters of some of these games. But is there anything to just the general philosophy of your quarterback not being right and giving him time to heal up before the most important games of the season?
Well, I mean, look, this is what's called the NFL. You're going to have to play the game when you're hurt. That's what most teams do. I mean, I think that's the fear of San Francisco is, when we are operating at a high level with all our guys, we're really hard to beat. But if they start to get nicked and bruised, then all of a sudden it becomes a problem. If the Eagles were so concerned about this, why did they have him in at the end of the game when the game was over last week? I don't think the Eagles are concerned. I think David's concerned about it. I don't think the Eagles are. I think the Eagles' problems have nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. It has everything to do with their inability to tackle in the secondary, their inability to play man-to-man. I mean, if you watch the tape of the game, I mean, they were not even – unless the front won the game early, there was no way they were covering those guys. And Kyle Shanahan called the game not to protect his quarterback. He called the game to attack the defense. Difference, right? There's a difference. And he knew they could get open. He knew that secondary couldn't run the ball and cover anyone. And he repeated plays in the game because he knew that they didn't adjust to it. So the issues in Philadelphia are not really related to Hurts' knee and his injuries. They're really related to their inability to cover and play defense in the secondary.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.